Hi everybody, welcome to IPO Stocks channel. Today I present you a new episode. Specifically, I will give you 5 top IPO stocks for 2021. So these top tech IPO stocks have excellent momentum and some have good growth as well. And the overall market and the tech stocks have been coming back over the last days, few trading days, and now it looks like they are having a reversal to the upside again. So I think it's an exciting time to look at strong tech IPO stocks for 2021. Okay, so before I start right off with the first tech IPO stock, I have to make a short disclaimer. This video does not constitute financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only, so please consider that. And also one more quick note, please subscribe now to my channel with a link in the description below so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me. So please subscribe now. And also one quick note, this is part 2 of the tech IPO stocks for 2021. So if you missed part 1, definitely have a look on my channel. These tech IPO stocks are way strong in the part 1 as well. So you should not miss that out. Okay, so let's start right off with the first tech IPO stock for 2021 for today. And it is, as you can see it in the charts, FLGT, Fulgent Genetics. Here you can see the long-term chart of Fulgent, and as you can see, Fulgent has been an IPO in September 2016. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here and it could not break out. No, it broke down, it formed a downtrend, and this downtrend lasted, let's say, we made a low, made a low in November 2017. Then in that downtrend, then we moved sideways. Here we made another lows around in December 2018, and then we reversed from these lows. We traded to the upside and formed a nice and strong uptrend in Fulgent. And in the short-term chart we see an uptrend as well. Here a nice uptrend, and then we had here base building phase, a consolidation phase, or period of pause in that uptrend, and we broke out of that base or pausing phase in December 2020 and traded strongly to the upside, had a very strong momentum move to the upside, and now we came back quite heavily as well because of that kind of short-term strong momentum move. So I think at these levels, Fulgent could be an attractive entry point now. Looks like we are maybe bouncing off the 50-day moving average. I mean, we undercut it a little bit and a bounce could happen soon. For instance, when we look in the long-term chart, we see here we bounce of the 100-day to the upside, the green line. Here we bounce around the 50-day to the upside. We undercut it here as well a little bit. So we had quite some bounces of the 100-day. Here we had a bounce as well. Base building phase and then bouncing phase of the 100-day moving average. Here as well of the 100-day moving average. So I think it could be likely that this 100-day is holding up quite well now at the moment, or we could even see a bounce of the 50-day to the upside. So I think Fulgent is looking good here from an entry point perspective. When we look at the growth characteristics for Fulgent, I mean, these are excellent. The EPS growth is super strong with 1,594%. The sales growth is also very strong with 494%. And the relative strength rating, it's very good with 93. So with these characteristics, Fulgent is definitely a top tech IPO stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Fulgent. So now let's have a look at the next tech IPO stock for 2021, and it is Atomera. Here you can see the long-term chart of Atomera, and as you can see, Atomera was a recent IPO in August 2016. And by the way, one quick note, why does it matter that we look for young companies which had recently their IPOs? Because 95% of the super performance stocks is happening in their first 10 years after their IPOs. So it definitely pays if you watch out for young companies which had recently their IPO, and because they could be in their super performance phase, and you could see very strong price increases in these companies. Yeah, but it's also not without risk. I mean, when we look at these IPOs, I mean, you saw often they have their IPO like this one, and like FuelGent as well, and then they move into a downtrend. Often they cannot break out really, try to make a base, and they break down. Yeah, and this happened to Atomera here as well. You see, we broke down in the stock. We made a low in November 2017, traded to the upside, and still we could not form a definite uptrend. No, still we drifted a little bit to the downside, and we broke down again, and then we traded up, broke down, traded up, broke down, and yeah, the last low before the uptrend was in March 2020. We reversed from that low, traded to the upside, and then finally we could develop a strong long-term uptrend in Atomera. And I mean, you can see this took quite some time after its IPO, but still it makes sense to follow these young companies. And when you see they are developing strong uptrends, and the moving average, the long-term moving averages are stacking up, this could be an excellent uh, uh, entry point or possibility for an entry. And yeah, we see here we formed a nice strong uptrend in the long-term chart in Atomera, and when we look in the short-term chart, we see that uptrend as well. Here we trended up. You see here a period of pause in the uptrend, a base building phase, yeah, and we broke out of that base around December 2020, traded strongly to the upside, had a very strong momentum move in Atomera, and yeah, you see as well we made a high around February 9th, 2021, and then we traded back, we came back strongly in Atomera. So I think, yeah, I think now the entry level is not too high. It's an attractive entry level, and we see as well, for instance, here we bounce around the 150-day to the upside, the orange line. We undercut it a little bit, and still we could bounce, or you could say we bounce off the 200-day moving average. And I think, yeah, from an entry point perspective, Atomera is looking good here. When we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, these are not the best. The EPS growth is plus 3%, and the relative strength rating, it's 91. But still, it's a young company, and it is in an uptrend. So I think Atomera is also a good tag IPO stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Atomera. So now let's have a look at the next top tech IPO stock for 2021. And it is, as you can see, that Zoom Video Communications. Here you can see the long-term chart of Zoom Video, and as you can see, Zoom Video was an IPO in April 2019. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here, and it broke out of that IPO base around February 2020 and formed a nice and strong uptrend since then. And recently, you see in the short-term chart, since around October 2020, we have been correcting in Zoom Video, and now we are building, I think it looks like we are building a longer term base in Zoom Video. I think sooner or later we will continue with that strong uptrend, but it still could take some time. I mean, just recently you see we hit two big down bars here, or two big down candles in Zoom Video. So I think we will need more time to reverse from these lows here and form a nice and continue with a strong uptrend in Zoom Video. But still, I think these levels are attractive for an entry position, because they are not too high in the stock price, and I think that later we could see higher prices in Zoom Video. When we look at the growth characteristics for Zoom Video, I mean, the EPS growth is super strong with 5,050%, and the sales growth is also way good with 361%, and the relative strength rating, I mean, it's okay with 86. So with these characteristics, I think Zoom Video is also a top tech IPO stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for some videos. So now we come to the next tag IPO stock for 2021, and it is MRNA, Moderna. Here you can see the long-term chart of Moderna, and as you can see, Moderna was an IPO in December 2018. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here, and it could break out of that IPO base around March 2020 and form a nice and strong uptrend since then. The short-term chart here, yeah, we see an uptrend as well, traded strongly to the upside here, and we had a longer-term base building phase here. Broke out of that base, let's say around November 2020, and had a very strong momentum move to the upside. We came back again then after December 2020, and yeah, we had again a bounce, and now it looks like we are building a new base here in Moderna. And I think soon we could hold these moving average lines. I mean, when we look here, for instance, here we bounced off the 150-day moving average line, the orange line here, and yeah, here we had a, so now we are trading at the 100-day line. I think this could hold up the 100-day line, the green line, or we could reverse to the 150-day line and then have a bounce. So I think, yeah, from a technical entry point perspective, I think Moderna is looking good here. And when we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's very strong with plus 73%. And the sales growth is super strong with 2,394%. And the relative strength rating, it's very good with 93. So with these characteristics, Moderna is definitely a top tech IPO stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Moderna. So now let's have a look at the next top tech IPO stock for 2021. And it is NK, NantKwest. Here you can see the long-term chart of NantKwest, and as you can see, NantKwest was an IPO in August 2015, and yeah, as said before, these IPO stocks can be quite risky as well. I mean, they have very high potential, yeah, but you should not just buy them, in my opinion, at the IPO date. In general, no, you should wait until they form a definite uptrend. And here you can see just after the IPO, NantKwest, it formed just a definite downtrend and was trending down, let's say around November 2019, when it started to reverse from these lows, trade to the upside and form a nice strong uptrend. So I mean, the downtrend was quite for a long time. So it definitely pays if you watch out until it develops an uptrend. And then you see, yeah, we developed here a nice uptrend, and you see here we had quite nice bounces of the moving averages. Here we bounce off the 200-day line, nice bounce to the upside, and again here we bounce again the 200-day line to the upside. Now we came back a little bit in NantKwest. I think still we are holding up quite well, and I think soon we could see a bounce maybe here of the 50-day line to the upside in NantKwest. When we look at the growth characteristics, I mean, the EPS growth, it's good with 21%. The sales growth is way good with 186%. And the relative strength rating, it's good with 92. So with these characteristics, and also in a hot sector, it is NantKwest. So I think it's definitely a top tech IPO stock for 2021. Okay, so these were the top tech IPO stocks for 2021 for today. I hope in that video are some nice tech IPO stocks which you can use for your research. And also please subscribe now to my channel and hit the notifications bell so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me. So please subscribe now. And I had fun making that video, and I think still this year will be an exciting stock trading year for tech stocks and momentum stocks still. I mean, in the last days we saw a strong market pullback in the strong tech and momentum names, but I think we will recover, and I think that that interest, that rising yields scenario, I think it won't play out in the end. still, I mean, when the bond market is in trouble a little bit, I mean, it feeds through the stock market, and I mean, correction was imminent in the strong tech leaders. I mean, they had so strong runs, but I think this is this is very good, because when there is a wall of worry, the stock prices go higher and higher, and if we don't have the wall of worry anymore, we cannot increase. So we need that. So I think still it makes sense, and it is an opportunity to get in cheap on in some of these strong leading names. So I think at the end of the year, we will see higher prices in many of the strong tech and momentum names. And that's why I think also it pays if you do your research this year and invest a lot of time, because there is so much liquidity out there, and it has to flow somewhere, and I think it will definitely flow into high rising tech and momentum names, because these leaders, they have the high profits, and they will continue to have these profits despite the economic cycles. So I think it definitely pays to invest your time and look out for strong tech names. Okay, so thank you for watching that video, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.